Alright everybody, and welcome back to the Goody Pantry. So today we're going to be doing pub grub. Now I first started in the kitchens over 20 years ago working in a pub. So what I thought I'd do, I'll show you some of our classics. Starting with today's video, chocolate fudge cake. So, that's being said, let's get into the ingredients first. So there's all our ingredients. The cake is on the left and the ganache is on the right. So we're going to start off with our cake mix. So there's our flour. Here we've got our caster sugar. We've got our sunflower oil. We've got our bicarbonate of soda. Golden syrup. Our cocoa powder. We've got our eggs. And then we've got our milk. So the first thing you're going to do is start the flour. Now I've already pre-sifted this flour. But what you also want to do is sift your bicarb and your cocoa powder. The reason being, especially the bicarb, always leaves clumps. So once you've got your flour sifted, then sift through your bicarb and your cocoa powder. As you can see here, lots of lumps in the bottom. So when you go these, you can use a spoon and everything. I actually find a ladle works best, which you'll see here. Because it's got a rounded bottom, you can just push it and it'll go straight through. Once you've got that done, now we're going to add the sugar. Once you add the sugar, give it a good stir around. Make sure it's well incorporated in with the flour and the cocoa powder. Next, you're going to make a little well with your hand just in the centre of the bowl. And we're going to pour in our sunflower oil. Next, we're going to go in with our eggs. And then with our golden syrup. Make sure you use a spoon to scrape it all out of the bottom. So now we're going to start our first whisk. And we're just going to do this just to let some of the ingredients incorporate. You don't have to whisk it all the way. Once you're at this part, you can stop whisking, and now we're going to add our milk. So the reason we do this, if you put all the liquids in together, it will be quite wet, and it might shoot out the bowl. Whereas if you keep the milk to last, as you can see, there's nothing spilling over the sides. So now we're just going to whisk again, and you're going to whisk this for about a minute, until it's all nice and incorporated. And after the minute, your mix will look like this. So next thing I'm going to do, so if you don't have, I've got two bowls the same, so I'm weighing my bowl. If not, the bowl that you use, just weigh it beforehand and find how much it weighs. Now I'm going to weigh my mix so that I know how much cake mix I'm going to put into each of my containers. So I'm finding out now, and I'm just going to divide that by 4 for my 4 bases. So I'm using silicone ones, and these work really well. These are 20 centimetre cake tins. So you're just going to give them a light spray of oil and just gently rub that around, make sure you get a good coating on there. And then we're going to divide our mix between the 4. So back to the scales. I'm going to weigh it out. For me, it came to around 415 grams. So I just did that times 4. So once you've done that, you're just going to repeat that with the other 3, and now we've got our 4 bases. Now what you want to do is get these onto a tray, and these are going to go into a preheated oven at either 160 degrees fan, 180 degrees regular, or gas mark free. And you're going to cook these for 20 to 25 minutes. Here's mine after the 20 minutes, and mine were cooked. So I'm just going to get a skewer, press it in the middle, and if it comes out clean, just like that, your cake's done. Okay, now on to our ganache. So I've got the pan over some boiling water here, and I've got my bowl in. I've got my cream. Now I put this cream in the microwave for about 2 minutes first just to get some temperature. Now we're adding the chocolate. This is a mix of dark chocolate and milk chocolate. Once you get this in, just give it a gentle stir. You don't have to do much, just give it so it can incorporate the cream. And then you're just going to leave it for 1 minute. After the 1 minute, as you start stirring, you'll be able to feel at the bottom that a lot of the chocolate's already melted. And the rest of the chocolate will just melt as you stir it. Now in the centre of the bowl, you can see the ganache starting to come through the milk, which is what you want. So at this point, you're going to keep stirring this for roughly a minute and a half. And then after that minute and a half, your ganache will look like this. At this point, your ganache is done, and you can take it off the heat. I'm adding a cap of vanilla. That's up to you if you want to do it. I think it personally, it gives it a better taste. So get your ganache off the heat, and then leave it for 5 minutes to cool. After the 5 minutes, you're going to put it in the fridge. So while that's in the fridge, it's only going to stay in the fridge for about 5, maybe 7 minutes. We're going to come over in and we're going to get our cakes out of our moulds. So with the silicone moulds, you just do this like I'm doing. Pull them at the sides, then turn them upside down, put it on your wire rack, and just tap the top with your fingers, just like this. And then once you've done that, press on the sides, just like this, and then you can pinch them like that. And that will pull the silicone away from the cake. And then when you lift the cake mold up, there's your cake, all come out. Not broken, all intact. Silicone works really well. So here's our ganache. This has been in the fridge for nearly 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's starting to set around the outside, but the centre is still wet. This is ideal because we're going to whip this. Now, whipping ganache gives you a really good texture to your ganache, and it's great for cakes. So with your electric whisk, just start whipping the ganache and incorporating the outside in with the middle. And you'll feel this as you're doing it, starting to become more of a buttercream consistency. And after a couple of minutes, it looks like this. Now you can see it's gone a lot lighter in colour. It's aerated, and it works really well, especially for a chocolate fudge cake. Okay, so now we're going to build our cake. So we'll start off with our bottom base, and I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of ganache to the first layer. Once you've got that done, start spreading it out. You don't have to go right to the edges because you're going to be putting layers on top, and it will press itself down as you go on. So there we go with our second cake layer, and we're just going to keep repeating these same steps until we've built our cake. And then again with the third. And here we have our last layer. Now with the last layer, just put your hand on it and give it a little press. And just, you can be quite firm with it, it won't break. But you're just letting all the layers stick to each other. So now we're going to go with the top of the cake. So we're going to put our ganache on, and we're going to spread this around. At this point, don't worry about how it looks. The chocolate fudge cake I'm doing, it's not a neat cake. I'm deliberately making it a messy style cake, but I'll show you what I'll do later in the video. So get a good layer of ganache on the top of your cake, and then with the remaining ganache, you're going to put 4 lumps on the top, 1 per quarter of the cake. Now as you do that, press it down and push it over the edges. And then just start smoothing it out from left to right. Don't worry about any gaps that appear in the cake, because we're going to work it around after we've done the 4 top parts. So I'm just going to twist the plate, and then we're going to move on to the next one. And again, we're going to repeat this all the way around. And then when you're on the last part, just take the excess, because you will have a lot on the top, and push that over the sides as well. So when you've just about got it covered, so now what you're going to do is you're going to line your spatula up, and you're just going to turn your plate into the spatula. And then as you go on around, just like I did there, if you see a little gap, fill it in, and then just keep turning the plate. And this will push the ganache around, and it'll start to level it off for you. Now you don't want this completely smooth, because like I said, we're going to be doing a messy style cake. So don't worry about it's perfect. All you're doing with this, you're just spreading it around, and you're filling in all those tiny little gaps where you could see some cake. Okay, so now we're going to decorate the cake. So what I'm going to use is, I'm going to use a spoon. And with the tip of the spoon, I'm just going to flick it up. And I'm going to go right round the sides of the cake doing this. And as you can see, this is giving me a nice little effect on the cake. And just do the same thing. Turn your plate and keep going. You can make this smooth if you like, if you prefer the smooth cake. Just keep going until you smooth it out. Sometimes though, I like to have a messy looking cake. And then for the top, I'm just going to use the spatula, and same thing I did with the spoon. Just going to use the tip to flick it up and create some little points. Once you've got that done, this part's optional, but I like to decorate the top with some strawberries. And never cut the tops off the strawberries. Because the first thing people are going to do when they see this cake, they're going to go, oh, strawberries, and pick one up. And they can pick it up with the stalk. And then just to finish it off, I'll pop a few in the centre as well. And there it is, all ready and done. And what an easy dessert this is. So there you can see on the left is how it was when it's done, and on the right how it was cut up. Now you can see those consistent layers, consistent filling, and it's just such a really good cake. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will be doing one video a month on pub food, so this is the first one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you at the next one.